All right, good stuff. Let's get into best bets.
It's best bets. It's best bets. It's time for all the best bets.
All right, Seattle Seahawks. I just mentioned them earlier in that rate my multi. The -6.5 for the Seahawks. I'm taking that, and the over against Carolina. That's $3.45. Thank you very much. 42.5 points in that game. That seems low. That's because Carolina are bad. Unfortunately, the good thing is Seattle have given up over 30 points in both of their games so far this season. They gave up 30 to the Rams in week 1. The Rams aren't very good. Like, let's be very honest. The Rams sort of stink. The Rams are going to fall to earth, and they gave up 31 in the 37-31 win last week against Detroit. Carolina will go in there to Seattle, and they'll have the 12th man going. They'll have some weird Seahawk that'll probably like rip off some dude's face. But the point is, like, Seattle's defense will give up at least 2 touchdowns to this horrible Carolina team. That gives you the 14, and I think this Carolina defense is not going to be slowing many people down. They gave up 20 last week in that weird, horrible loss to the New Orleans and the Falcons. Those were 2 divisional games, though. This is an outer division game. Seattle should put up plenty of points. And then that Atlanta-Detroit game that I mentioned earlier. Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit. It's a weird one because I want to go Detroit, but I can't trust them. If I'm going to get the points for Atlanta, I think they can win this on the road because I don't trust that Detroit defense. What did I just say? So we're going to go to Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit in Detroit. The over 46.5, which is a little bit higher, but these are 2 pretty high-powered offenses as well. That'll get you $3.40, and I don't mind that a lot because this very much screams to me, oh, we'll back Detroit because they should be pretty smashing and like they're really good at the offense. Like, yeah, but are they? Like, they had 31 in a loss. They had 21 in the win in KC in week 1. I feel like Atlanta just have like a little bit of solidity about them, and this is the game that Detroit loses by 3. So I'm going to get Atlanta plus 3.5 versus Detroit, the over 46.5, $3.40. They are my 2 favorite bets for the NFL this week with a couple of doubles. So there you go. Let's go, Stats Guy.
Yeah, okay, Joe, I got another Rate My Multi. They're coming out everywhere today.
Rate my multi.
All right, I love doing a bit of an AFLW one. I think the first 2 weeks. The last week we only lost by a leg, so hopefully we can bounce back in this one. So starting off with Carlton taking on Richmond. I'm going to take the Richmond Tigers at -6.5 here. Carlton, they actually looked really good last week, but it was against West Coast, who I predicted to be the worst team in the competition.
So bad.
Yeah. So I was saying all season how Carlton, they just don't really know how to kick a big score. And then they got 77 against West Coast, but I think they'll drop back down again this week. You got Richmond with Mon Conti and an absolute freak midfield. So I'm going to go Richmond -6.5 there. Probably the game of the weekend, North Melbourne taking on Brisbane. I'm going to go North Melbourne just head-to-head against Brisbane. I think it's around $1.75. North lost the last couple of times to Brisbane, but as we mentioned, they've lost a few people in the off-season. North also got a really good win against Geelong last week, even with Shearlaw out, who's one of their leading goal scorers. So I think Shearlaw comes back in, her injury is okay, so their forward line's going to absolutely tear it up. Should be really close. So it should be really close. I think the line's 2.5, so you could probably take that. I'm just going to keep it safe at the head-to-head. Then St Kilda taking on Collingwood. The Saints, they're shocking. They're 0-3. They lost to Port, who only won 1 game last year. They had a big thing, this big show about how they're going back to their home ground at RSEA Park. And then they
the hell's an RSEA Park?
Where is it again? Not Moorabbin, is it?
Oh, so it's Moorabbin, is it?
Yeah, Moorabbin.
Oh, okay,
sure.
well,
so they had a big thing about going back there, and then they lost to Port. It was pretty bad. So Collingwood -11.5. They've just got really good midfield as well. I think that will take over. Then Essendon Freo. This is a bit of a tricky one, but I'm going to take Freo +7.5. Kiara Bowers came back last week, who's their best player, Freo, from injury. She's an absolute gun in the midfield. Essendon, they've beaten had a couple of wins, but I think it was against Hawthorn, and they haven't looked about being able to kick a big score. Freo have got a few big forwards down there that can kick a big score themselves, so I think that will be really close. Essendon could win, but Freo +7.5. So I'm going to go Richmond -6.5 against Carlton, North to beat Brisbane, Collingwood -11.5 against the Saints, and Freo +7.5 against the Bombers. That's $11.24 for 4 legs.
I really like that.
The lines, I'm trying not to go any more big lines. It's pretty tough. So
I'm just looking. I'm going to back the Swans to win by 1-24 against West Coast at $3. I know West Coast stink. The Swans aren't that great, but they actually put up a pretty good performance last week against Geelong. It wasn't 2 weeks ago against Geelong and last week. I know they got rolled, but there was a lot of good signs there against Brisbane. Like one of the girls had 42 possessions. It was insane.
Yeah, and you got the rising star, Ruckman Morfitt. I think
she's a freak, Morfitt.
She's awesome, man.
Can she play ruck for the Swans?
yeah, the men's team. Yeah, get her in there.
Just don't tell Andrew Bogut. Right, I like that one a lot. I'm going to give that an 8.5.
I'll take that.
I think Richmond, I don't mind that line against Carlton. I do like the Collingwood over St Kilda as well. Freo Western is a fascinating one, but
that's the hardest one, yeah.
Not bad.
I'm a 7s. I'm just concerned about that St Kilda Collingwood game. I'm all about North beating Brisbane because I've taken on Brisbane big time this year in a bet to not win the flag, so I need them to lose.
Nice.
All right, it's time for everyone's favourite spot on a Friday, the donation.
Donation. This one might actually win.
Donation. The tune of the summer. Alex, take it away.
Missed one leg last week. Brutal stuff. So, as said earlier, we're just going the over tonight in GWS and Collingwood. Don't care who wins. Hopefully it's the Giants. But anyway, we just need the over. Tomorrow night, Lions minus 18.5 and over 169.5 against Carlton. Sorry, Jim. EPL, as mentioned, Brentford, best bet of the weekend. They'll get the job done. My beloved Arsenal, and then Brighton to finish off with our man Phil on the ground. Hopefully they send him home happy.
Yeah, I can't believe he's going there. That's awesome.
I know. He was very happy that he didn't sneak across for the Europa League this morning after they lost to AEK Athens. And then we'll finish off with some horses. Rosehill, race 4, number 4, Osmosis to win. He's first up from a spell. He's an unbeaten galloper. Looks to be really progressive, like the placement. Loved his barrier trials coming in. And then at Caulfield, race 7, number 2, Vate to place. Really nice horse, but we're just going to take the safety of the place. I do think he can win, though, so we'll have that at the end of this. But just for him to place here, that donation is $98.85. With Vate to win, it's $242.60.
I feel like the donation has to be at least 3 figures, so I might have to go the win on that one.
Yeah, it feels like it's a bit like 90,
if you get your bet boost, you'll get like $102.
True, actually, yeah. Good call. I don't mind it though. Yeah, other than the Arsenal one, which I've already made points for. Other than that, I really like it.
Yeah, the Arsenal one is like it would be hilarious. I feel like if Arsenal Tottenham draw. So
that's what I'd
probably change that. I'd probably go Arsenal or draw in that game because I do sort of lean towards Arsenal on that side too. I like the Brighton call. Love the Brentford call. Don't know about the Horsies, but that's fine.
Yeah, cool names.
Excellent. Good stuff.
Nice.
I'll donate a $5 on that one, I think. See how we go.
We're still in front. If you've had $10 on every one of them, we're still in front.
That's crazy.
We're doing better than Nathan Brown.
Yeah, not hard.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.